That's right. All right, so today we're going to look at Elijah and see where he is and what strategies we want to work on. So we want to start first with, according to our Istation aim line and our DRI aim line, he should be at a level 6 instructional level in August of first grade and have above a 199. So his score, he is at a 190 on Istation, and we have him at a level 4 instructional, correct? So level 4C. So he is in our tier 3 group. So what I want us to do is look in our Fontes and Pinnell book. I want us to pull up level 4 and level 6, so C and D. And I want to look at what do we notice that's different between C and D. So if Elijah is at a C right now, what is it that we need to do to get him to a D? What's the difference between the two?
There are more words on the page.
Mm-hmm. What do we notice about those words?
They're not, a D does not have a pattern.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. The sentences are a bit longer.
Okay. All right, so those are some differences that we want to keep in mind, that Elijah's at a C right now, but what do we need to do to get him to a D? So keeping those things in mind as we start looking at where we have Elijah right now. So let's look at his running records. What do we notice in his running records?
So Elijah, he had one self-correct,
Mm-hmm.
and he had 5 tolds, which was emerging, and
Mm-hmm.
so I went down to a 3, but that was independent, so I kept him here at a 4.
Okay. So is he using any MSV to help him with those, or what does he do when
He
with
just,
those tolds? What's his behavior?
he really just relies on the tolds.
Okay.
And stops.
Okay, so we're not seeing any strategies that he's using with that at all. So let's look at our change over time and see our C, our 4, and our 6. What do we notice?
I mean, he can, start with the first letter. That
Mm-hmm.
could be a next step.
So a strategy that we can support with him is having him focus on that.
Mm-hmm. Get your mouth ready.
Get your mouth ready for that first. Which focus area is that in?
That would be integrate meaning and structure.
Okay.
With visual information.
Okay, so I'm going to go into the tracker. I'm going to pull up Elijah and mark on the processing, because you've already marked and see where you marked, and that's, I'm going to click on the integrate the meaning with that picture to help with that first sound. Is there another area in either comprehension or fluency that you feel, Elijah, based on those pieces needs to work on?
Well, looking at his DRA, his comprehension was okay, but I think he used the pictures for
Okay.
that.
Mm.
And so I don't know if I'd go there, but for sure with the fluency, when I was reading with him yesterday, he was just rambling on, just so fast, not even really looking at the words. So
Okay.
if we did that first one,
Okay.
the pause and change voice at punctuation with an emphasis on the pause.
Okay.
Mm.
Okay. All right, so I'm going to put in here on the notes section of this tracker, what are we noticing in Elijah? So we're noticing that he has, he's not using strategies,
Relying on tolls.
relying on tolls.
Reading too fast.
Reading too fast. So then we have his, at least running records documented. So let's go into our Istation. So I want to go into the classroom summary of the Istation, and I want to pull up Elijah. When we look at Elijah, do you guys have that open?
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Okay. When we look at him, where are his areas on Istation that he struggles?
Looks like letter knowledge.
Ooh.
Mm. I can see that too.
Okay, his letter knowledge, and also I notice his phonemic awareness.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm going to click open the phonemic awareness piece so we can drill down a little bit further and look at what specifically in that phonemic knowledge is he struggling with? What are we seeing on Istation to see if it corresponds with us? So I notice that his beginning sound is a 6 out of 10. So the strategy of him focusing on that initial sound should hit with that phonemic sound or that beginning sound.
So it might be that he just doesn't know his letters.
So we noticed the other was letter knowledge, so let's look.
Right.
So when we drill down into letter knowledge, it looks like his letter sounds, he's 4 out of 8. So he's struggling with those sounds. It's kind of nice that you can pull that up on here.
Yeah, that's.
All right, so if we look at our data from our running records aligns with our Istation, that we know that it is one of the strategies we want to work on is that initial sound. So thinking about your literacy block, probably more your guided reading, what activities, what could we put in our lesson plans to focus on our beginning letter sounds with Elijah, and more than likely maybe some kids in his group. So what are some strategies we could use there?
I think for sure having an alphabet chart for his writing, and also having an alphabet chart in their reading folder. That's where I keep their reading goal, and making sure to go over that. Having some lessons that talk about beginning sound and matching it with the picture.
So at the beginning of maybe your guided reading in that word study, you could go through the alphabet chart with that sound to try to work on those pieces. Because I'm wondering if there's anything we could do maybe in a workstation too. Do we have some activities in your daily 5 in that workstation where
That's a good idea.
we could really focus on maybe some specific for Elijah on just that word sound? Okay, and if you notice some other kids as we go through. All right, so before we end, what I would like you guys to do is, so Jessica, we know with Elijah you're going to be working on that initial sound, getting his lips ready. So I'm going to have you just with Danielle, there's a very beginning section here. If you could be a very pleasing Elijah for Jessica.
Hi, Elijah. My, how you have grown.
Thank you.
We're going to read this book together.
Okay.
She was.
What's that first letter? That's the sound it makes, right? It's an S. Do you see anything on the picture that might help you?
Sleeping.
Good. Let's try it again.
She was sleeping.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Good job.
On the.
So let's try what we did up here. What's that letter? That's the letter R. It makes that sound. What makes sense?
Carpet.
Elijah. No.
Does carpet start with
Rug.
Yes.
All right, thank you for practicing. Does that help kind of walk through with Elijah?
It
How to
does,
do it.
but what really helped was seeing that the correlation between the running record and the Istation. I never really thought to kind of connect those two, and it was nice to see that, the gap is the same, basically.
And by doing your letter sounds during guided reading, you can be assessing how many letters does he really, those sounds, does he not have, and maybe some other kids in that group, so that we can build on that piece.
Yeah.
All right, so do you still feel that the groups that are with Elijah in this, they're all where they need to be? Do we need to make any adjustments to any of those guided reading kids? Or are you okay right
I think
now?
I want to go back into Istation and look at everyone's data more closely and then make that decision.
Okay, so your guided reading groups, I know they're online here, so I will look at when Elijah's guided reading group is, and I'll try to be in next week to see it.
Okay, great.
All right, thank you.